Welcome to JR's studio, where we'll be doing our top 10 list. I'm Iadarola. Francesca's not in JR's studio. How's it going,
No.
Francesca?
It's good. I could change the color of the background, but that's about it.
Does this look sharper? Maybe it's the blur in the background. I really like this. I don't think I'm gonna leave. I think this is my place now, actually. But anyway, we're here to do a top 10 list, and I'm excited for it because I'm very into movies. So the 10 movies that never got a sequel but deserved one. Did you find this to be difficult to put together?
No, not at all. I'm a big movie buff. Love movies.
Me too. Okay, well, with that attitude, because I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic or not, why don't we get your number 5?
Okay, number 5 movie that deserved a sequel, and I don't think it has one. So some of these are like, I don't think it has one, or if it does have one, it's really bad. And I'm like, a quick Google search could fix this for me. But like, I'm lazy. So Half Baked is one of my favorite comedies ever.
I don't think it does. I don't think it has one.
Yeah, and this is obviously, when Chappelle was cool and not an entitled transphobic millionaire. But Half Baked is great. It's just one of those movies that I love. I own on DVD, even if I don't really have a DVD player. And it deserves a sequel. It was so funny. It's still funny. And yeah.
I haven't seen it in many years, but it is very funny. I have very fond memories of it. Honestly, though, he's who he is now. It's what's his face? The goat boy. He's more of an issue these days. I mean, he's done maybe a bigger 180 or just become goat boy. Jim Breuer. Yeah, I think so. Jim Breuer. Like Dave Chappelle's still a comedian. Jim Breuer is, I don't know what that's supposed to be, but very funny movie. They could have made a great sequel 15 years ago for that.
I love any kind of high heist movies. I think are really funny. One of the other movies I love was Happy Face with Anna Faris. Is her name Anna Faris? I don't think it is, but like
Anna Faris
chick
is a person.
The chick from all the scary movies.
Anna Faris.
Yeah, Anna Faris. Anna Faris, who I know is sort of like weirdly like super Christian and whatever. But Happy Face is also like a high heist movie, and I think high heist movies are in and of themselves some of the best comedies. Okay, I love them.
Half Baked wouldn't be on my list, but you made me think of another honorable mention, I think, that I wish I had put on. But anyway, my number 5 is gonna be, most of mine, many people will be like sacrilege. People take sequels super seriously. I get the idea that like a movie can be so perfect that you shouldn't sully it with a sequel. But I've always felt if the sequel's good, that's awesome. If it's bad, you still have the movie. It's not different now.
Totally.
So come at me, but I'm gonna say Labyrinth. I think they could have done a cool Labyrinth sequel. They could do it now, and it would definitely be like Harry Styles or whatever. Maybe Rami Malek. We'd be lucky if it was Rami Malek. We'd probably get Harry Styles. But anyway, it's an interesting world. I think that there's room there for a sequel. Throw some cool puppets and some songs together, and I think that you could have something. It's probably way too late for it. But they rebooted The Dark Crystal. They could reboot The Labyrinth.
Okay, so this was gonna be one of mine, but then I saw that in 2020, the director Scott Derrickson, I guess, he's gonna direct a Labyrinth sequel for TriStar Film.
They're gonna do one? Do we know who's attached? Is she attached?
Who? Oh, Connelly? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so.
Oh, you gotta bring back Jennifer.
You have
Connelly,
to bring back
for
Jennifer.
Cameo.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Harry Styles and like Anya Taylor-Joy. If I had to guess, that's who they'd put in this right now.
I don't know who that is, but I think Margaret Qualley,
from Once Upon a Time. Oh yeah, okay, I could kind of see that.
She would be good.
She could be good. Anyway, Anya Taylor-Joy from the Queen's Gambit and also Everything.
Oh yes. Oh my God, yes.
She's the Timothée Chalamet of women.
She is. She would be great. Anyway, I love her.
I know. Anyway, so that's my number 5.
That's a good one.
It could go bad, and the The first movie is very weird. I hope that this one's also weird like that one was, but I could see that happening.
Yeah, major sexual tension. It's got to be like her daughter later on, and like the Goblin King's son, and like there's just like he's still evil and weird, and she's still but she's like curious, and her mom will never talk about what happened and how she got back her little brother. Like it could be real
I like it
good.
already.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. It could be
okay, what's your number
good.
4?
Okay, number 4. I really liked that. That was gonna be my number 5.
We almost had a crossover.
My number 4, obviously, since I know this movie from start to finish, every single line, do not test me. Forrest Gump 2, you guys. Where is it? Give it to me.
I want it. That's a long movie to know every line.
Oh, hell yeah. But it's the movie I've seen maybe more than any other movie. I love it.
Wow.
I know every single word, and I want to see how does Gump's son, who is he smart or is he, he is smart. He's at the top of his class. I want to see like how he deals with like all the other from like whatever it is, like the 80s onward, like the Gump son in the Reagan administration, and then like in the Clinton years, and then on until Trump. Who knows? What was his son doing pivotally? Like, was he the back channel between Russia and the Trump campaign? Maybe.
I think he fought in Desert Storm and the war in Iraq both times, but for different sides in each.
He did 9/11.
Oh my God, no. It's like, there's like these guys who are like, we're supposed to take these flight lessons. Where do we, oh no, they're right over there. He like directs them or something. That's what they would do. Anyway, they could totally do a sequel to Forrest Gump. I read Forrest Gump, and there is like way more stuff he does in the book that they never put in.
There's a book?
Like yes, he becomes a professional wrestler. He goes to space. Like they could totally make a sequel out of it.
I think you're ridiculous. Tom Hanks's career. There's a book. God,
yes,
you guys.
There's a book. Every movie's off of a book. Anyway,
okay.
By the way, when he says that line about like, is he like me? Like I tear up every single time.
Oh yeah.
Tom Hanks is a really good actor. It turns out he is good. Anyway, I now feel a little bit bad about my next one because it is not, an Oscar winner like Forrest Gump. My number 4 is gonna be a movie that I have a weird amount of affection for, which is Demolition Man. Have you seen Demolition Man?
Never. Who is that? Is it Stallone? Who's in that?
It's Stallone, Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
Who's the comedian who goes on rants a lot? What's his name?
Dennis Leary? Dennis Miller. Miller.
No.
Leary or Miller?
Is the good one. Okay. Leary's the good one, Miller's the bad one, I think, right?
Yes. Leary's the better one, yeah.
Leary's the better one anyway. Yes, he's in it. So Stallone is this cop who like gets frozen, and then they need to unearth him in the future. It's like a utopia. But Wesley Snipes he's a criminal from the past, and now they need a cop from the past to get him. It's just a ridiculous idea of what the future would be like with some really interesting world building. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the most important part, which is that Sandra Bullock is the co-star.
Oh, nice.
They could totally bring that back.
Wait, so they get a guy from the future to go get a guy from the past?
No, okay, so imagine 15 years from now, everything's terrible, America's terrible. There's a terrible criminal.
Difficult to imagine.
Exactly, and a cop gets him. They're both like really rough and tumble, but anyway, both of them have broken the law, so they both get frozen. Then like 30 years in the future, everything's great now, and nobody remembers violence. But somebody unchills the criminal, and so who's gonna catch him?
You defrosted the baddie.
Exactly. Anyway,
so they have to defrost the other baddie. That is so dumb.
The cop baddie, yeah. Anyway, it's a stupid movie, but it's very fun. It's got a lot of cheesy one-liners. I would totally watch a sequel to it.
Okay.
Anyway, if you like Demolition Man, post a comment below. It is fun. Okay, what is your number 3?
It's a good one. God, these are hard. My number 3 is a movie I also know backwards and forwards that I love, and it's kind of my go-to sick movie whenever I'm feeling ill. But The Breakfast Club is the best John Waters film, and doesn't have like weird racist moments the way every other film has of his from the 80s. But Breakfast Club, kids who all get sentenced to detention and they're all like the jock, the prom queen, the nerds, the blah blah blah, and then they just realize the basket case, and then they're also that's weird different.
Yeah.
And I love that film. I think there could have been another one, or an update on how they're doing. Do they stay friends? Probably not. Do they have to rekindle what the magic that detention put them into? Do they go back to their ways of, and their little, social cliques?
Maybe.
Who knows?
But is that one of the ones that ends with it says what happens to each of them in text? No. Oh, it's not. Okay, then you could do it. Yeah. I don't believe I have ever sat down and watched The Breakfast Club from start to finish. I think I've seen little bits.
You have.
I just remember I had a pretty big crush on Ali Sheedy. I remember that. Yeah. And I remember thinking that it was sort of weird that Emilio Estevez was like the jock. I don't think he would be the jock if they were to do it these days.
He was a wrestler. You could be kind of like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he was a wrestler.
I could see them remaking that. That could be a thing.
You have to. Hey. Ooh, sorry, I have to sing. Don't you forget about me. I do like that song. Yeah,
I do like a lot of the people in that. I could see seeing that.
So good.
Someday they'll remake it. Okay, my number 3 is I think the closest thing to a comedy. Demolition Man is comedic, but my number 3 is going to be Galaxy Quest. Have you seen Galaxy Quest?
No.
So Galaxy Quest it was Tim the Toolman Taylor in the best thing that he's ever done, I think, and Sigourney Weaver. Oh God, who's the guy who plays Snape in Harry Potter? What's his name?
Oh, Alan.
Rick. Alan Rickman. Yeah.
Rickman. Yeah.
Anyway, he's in it. He's great. So anyway, it's a parody of Star Trek. So there are these people who are in a TV show that's basically Star Trek. And they get abducted by aliens to do that stuff in real life because the aliens don't know that the TV show is fake. And it's funny and it's got some surprisingly good action and CGI for when it came out. Sigourney Weaver's pretty funny. It's cheesy and everything, but it was really good. It was very well received. Maybe not initially by critics, but it became like a cult classic.
Galaxy Quest.
They totally could have done a sequel. I think that if it came out these days, they would do a sequel. I don't know, Hollywood was much more willing to just let things die back then.
I know, thank God. I mean, I think that's good. Some of this, I hear what you're saying, but I do think that sometimes you should just let it be a great movie in and of itself. But I never saw that Galaxy Quest.
I wonder if we'll have any other crossovers. Would you just let your number 2 be?
What do you mean?
Well, do you want a sequel? What is it? That was a transition.
Oh, I got it. Segue.
What is yours?
Yeah. So you reminded me of one actually, because it's one of the few sci-fi movies, and this is all from a certain age, clearly. I'm dating myself by all this, but The Fifth Element is a wonderful film. It is
really
so good. Yes. It is funny and bizarre and great, and I love Bruce Willis in it. I gotta say, Mila Jovovich, she's in it. She's amazing and totally could have done with a sequel. They put all the elements together. Then they end up together, but come on, there's way more cool space stuff and other things that are gonna be going on. It's just so good. Things that are gonna be going on. I know the plot to this film very well.
You too. Does anyone get the plot to that movie? I like it okay. I think Chris Tucker is really funny. I think that Bruce Willis was good. The Mila Jovovich thing fits into a pretty toxic trope in sci-fi, but I think she was good in it. I think that was fine. For me, it was it was just weirdly cartoonish.
Yes.
And fandom. I found out that it was this French director, which sort of makes sense in hindsight. I don't know. I've always felt that the movie was a little bit too weird.
No, it is weird, but that's why Bruce Willis really crushes it. Cause he's the most normal guy, cab driver. He's always obviously the unwitting hero of a film. He never wants to be oh, I gotta save the day. She just fell into my cab. but I love it. No, it's good.
Okay.
And what's his bucket? Who's now like really reactionary? The
Oh no.
who plays the bad guy?
No, is he really reactionary?
All the Batman films. What's his name?
Oh no. Oh God, he's in my next one.
He's just a right winger. He's kind of.
I didn't know he was a right winger now. What's his name?
I can't believe I'm blanking. I got all the other ones. I can't believe I remember Alan Rickman, for the love of God. I haven't even seen Harry Potter.
You've seen none of them?
One, I saw one.
You don't even know which one?
No.
Okay, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, love Gary Oldman.
Oh my God, no, he's not a right winger.
Not by a MAGA standard, but by like.
Okay, well.
By
he's
a
in my number 2.
Okay,
well,
what's your number 2?
Bad too. Can anyone guess if you're watching this? Gary Oldman deserves a sequel, demands a sequel. Okay, my number 2, and I was flip-flopping my 2 and my 1. Both of them are really up there. The Professional.
Yes.
Have you seen The Professional?
It was gonna be in one of mine, and I believe they tried to reboot. It was gonna be a crossover.
Did they?
I think they tried.
Oh, that. I think the most obvious way to do it is how they should do it. That she's now the grown up and she takes like a young kid under her wing or something. I think Natalie Portman could kill it. Maybe I don't know if that guy's still around. Maybe he could be in it too. But I think Natalie Portman would be awesome. I know that she has talked about that movie and she doesn't like a lot of stuff about the sexualization. There is some weird sexualization stuff going on in that. But I would get rid of all of that. And just the relationship between the older parental assassin figure and the young lost person, I thought it was really good.
No, I think it'd be also, it's like, again, back to like this idea that sort of like La Femme Nikita, where she is older, forgets sort of what she used to do, forgets this relationship. And then it kind of like he comes back into her life. The Gary Oldman, the evil guy, comes back so evil, so scary. And like she's got a, she has a daughter, like something where she has to remember her assassin ways.
Sure.
But I think apparently there was a book, right, that was even more suggestive between this like older man and a child. But the movie itself,
it made me a little bit uncomfortable. I watched it earlier this year, last year. It made me a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah,
some of the stuff.
Sure.
She jokes about being his lover, like to weird out adults. And apparently the international cut of it has more sexual stuff in it.
Oh yeah, the French version.
The French version. Well, oddly enough, yeah.
Where meet in France, where Me Too never happened.
Exactly.
What is a Me Too? I have no idea. That is what we call a Sunday. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, that leaves only your number 1. What's your number 1?
Okay, number 1, this is a film that I am embarrassed to admit or not to admit that I've seen, or I did see 4 times in the theater.
Whoa.
That's right. 4. He's one of my favorite directors, even though he's coming out with kind of a whack like biopic of Elvis Presley. Baz Luhrmann, who did Moulin Rouge, which I saw 4 times in the theater. And I'm sorry, like 16-year-old me, which is when that 16, 17-year-old me was like, this is so lame. And then I was like, we could be, like I just got really into it. I got like surprisingly into it, and it was so good. And I could use a little update. I could use a Moulin Rouge 2.
Ewan McGregor's very, very popular these days.
Exactly.
You can throw him in that thing. I have not actually watched Moulin Rouge. I've seen a little bit. My wife was watching it and I watched the end and it seemed very weird. I was very confused by what was happening.
It's weird. If it's like creative direction, you're like, what a weird film.
I like things to be very literal and lowest common denominator. Did you know that I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Anyway,
true. Wait, John, have you seen Strictly Ballroom? It's a Baz Luhrmann film, also.
No,
so good.
I like some musicals. I liked La La Land. Is that good? I don't know.
No, La La Land sucked titties. All right, I'm sorry.
It doesn't sound terrible.
That's not a
bad
thing.
Way,
okay, it sucked ass.
I like La La Land.
But depending on
no shame.
No shame.
I like La La Land. I think it should have a sequel.
I hated La La Land.
It's not. It's not. I'm joking. It's not.
Okay. Thank God.
I want to see Emma Stone. She's a national treasure.
I was gonna get very upset if La La Land was your number 1.
Oh, you're gonna get upset by my number one, but it's not La La Land.
Okay.
Anyway, Moulin Rouge is very popular. My wife really likes it, so no disrespect on Moulin Rouge. Okay, my number one is a movie that is gonna get, I think, a prequel.
Okay.
But they should have just, within the next 2 or 3 years, they should have just done a sequel. It is Mad Max Fury Road, which I think is the best movie of like the last 10 years. It is. I watched it again on my plane ride to New York.
Nice.
It's a cool world, interesting world building. Some of the best like practical effects action sequences ever. I mean, at the very least in decades, maybe ever.
The whole thing is an action sequence.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a bit much sometimes. It's weird, creative direction, all that. Yeah, and you got the dude with the guitar, and it's just really cool. It's really, really cool. And like they definitely could make more in it. I mean, it's not the first in that series. They can do other things. Go back to Thunderdome or something. I want to see a return to Thunderdome.
Okay, so look, I didn't really love that film, even though there were like feminist reasons why I should have loved it, and like I did like those things about it. But when I finished that movie, I was like, okay, well, I'm super excited for the next one because it left me hanging like 3/4 of the way through, maybe even more. You find out his name is Max.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, I'm Max. And you're like, oh, cool. Thanks for doing some character building in your action sequence. So I needed more and I wanted more. And you're totally right. The world was amazing. Everyone refers to it. And so I was kind of like, oh yeah, in a year or two, when the sequel comes out, I'm super there because I know we're gonna get more out of this. And it literally hasn't happened.
It hasn't. I mean, they worked on that one for a very, very long time. So it's hard to immediately turn around and do another one and have it be as good. The thing that worries me is they're gonna do, I think, a prequel, and it's gonna focus on Furiosa, but they didn't want her to be involved, which I found to be like, she's really good in that. She's a significant part. Charlize Theron.
No,
she's a significant part. They apparently didn't want her to be involved in it, which that makes me question their judgment a little bit.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, she's older, and so if you're gonna do a prequel, she should probably be younger.
Look what they did in The Irishman. If they can de-age those wrinkled dudes, they can de-age Charlize Theron.
I'm not a fan of the CG unaging process. I think it's very weird.
Get used to it. We're gonna start rolling it out at TYT soon. Bless you.
Sorry.
We're gonna de-sneeze you with our technology. Okay, anyway, that's my number one. I did have 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
And maybe if we do a second edition of this, which I definitely could do several. I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall could have had a good sequel. That is one of my favorite comedies of all time. And I also think, considering how much money it made, it's weird that The Matrix never got a sequel. So I think that they could have tried something with that. But other than that, it's a stupid joke. Anyway, do you have any honorable mentions you want to mention, or do you want to save them for the second one?
Adam Sandler really fell off, but Billy Madison too would have been.
I did like Billy Madison.
I mean, Billy Madison Goes to College would have been great and very funny.
That's his best movie, right? Billy Madison.
I think so. Happy Gilmore was probably his best movie in my opinion, but Billy Madison is when he came on the scene and you were like, what the hell is going on? And I love it. Like it was, I think comedically new actually. Like I remember when I first watched it, I was like, this is dumb, but I'm so enthralled.
Yeah.
So
I just thought of one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it for the next one. But yeah, you're right. I think, he started doing other stuff and I guess he likes the path that he's on, but I haven't been interested in years and years and years.
Everybody loves Jack and Jill.
Oh my God.
It's when you sign, he like signed his life away to whatever studio, Netflix, Universal or MGM. No, it was just
he
like.
He makes Netflix movies now, I think.
Now I guess, but I think he made like a pact. He had to sign a contract where he's like, I will do one crappy comedy every 2 years, no matter what.
And he'll make crazy bank probably. Anyway.
Yes.
Well, his movies probably won't be appearing on my next edition of this, but if you have ideas either for movies that deserve sequels and never got them, or for top 10 lists, you can post them in the comments down below. Want to thank you as always for supporting the network as you do, and special thanks to Francesca. Always glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. We'll see you later.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.